Hi, my name is Alex Salison. I'm currently a classroom kindergarten teacher, and I've been teaching in public schools for 7 years now. I started my collaboration with Dr. Kristen Mike when I was telling her about how I often need to collect a lot of data to support my students in the classroom. This is often behavioral data in kindergarten, and I might have to collect data points on different behaviors or redirections as many as several times a minute or several times every few minutes. And when I'm collecting data in a paper and pencil format, for example, if I'm handed a clipboard with different data points to collect, I often have to pause instruction in order to collect this data or wait until later to backlog what I observed in the classroom. So I started thinking about how I could develop a lanyard that would allow me to collect data with one hand so that I could continue instruction while collecting the data that I need in order to best support my students' educational programming and best advocate for what they need. It was here that Kristen and I connected. We started thinking about how we could connect not only a teacher lanyard, but have that data go to a website or app so that I could look back at the data from the day, see the timestamps of when behaviors occurred, see durations of behaviors, redirections, things like that. And we are also working on tying in a haptic wristband in order to tie behavior management into this idea. So Kristen and I are very excited about where this could take us, and we think that this could really make a big difference for teachers and students in the classroom in a data-based way.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Mike. I'm a school psychologist in Maine, and I am the co-founder and flock founder of Nudgies. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our project. Your need. So the individual setup would be something that, if you have 1 or 2, 3 students in your classroom that really are struggling staying focused, you will have that teacher feedback via the lanyard loop that will go to their student wristband in terms of the positive and redirection vibrations. In the small group setup, it's a similar format where you have the teacher pressing those buttons, but the students would be grouped by color. So the entire red group or green group would be getting those redirection signals. And in the reverse mode setup, we wanted to include this because we have the hardware would already be out there. It's the same setup, but a different use here would be that if you have a student that might be highly anxious or has emotional difficulties regulating and needs breaks, but is nervous about communicating that, then that reverse mode setup would be something that would be really helpful for the student. Then to have those buttons that provide then the vibrations to the teacher, they would just switch the actual units. And then the self-monitoring setup is the one where the student would be receiving those randomized interval cues and determining by that side button if he or she has been on task when that alert was sent to the wristband. We're super excited about trying to get this into classrooms because as a school psychologist and as a teacher, we really both feel that this is something that is missing in terms of something that's discrete, something that's real time in terms of feedback, something that's automatic in data collection. It makes things easier for teachers. It provides that feedback loop for learning for students where it's multisensory, where we can really solidify those new behavior patterns. So thank you for considering us and the project.